Hi guys, I'm coming in today to talk to you about something that I hear really often when I talk to women, or I have women who message me about their habits or their anxiety and things like that, things that people struggle with innocently. And often I hear, I don't understand why I feel this way. I don't understand why I've got this habit, because my life is great. My life is quote unquote perfect. I have the perfect relationship, I have lovely parents, live in a nice house, and there's lots of things for me to be grateful for. So I don't understand why I feel like this. I don't understand why I have these low thoughts. I don't understand why I feel anxious, or why I go to alcohol, or why I go to habits, food, shopping, whatever it might be. And this is really interesting because when they're saying that to me, I think they've obviously read about my story, read a little bit about my life, listened to my stuff in some form, and can see, like, from my story, oh, she's had grief, she's had trauma, she's had PTSD. So that would explain why she had problems. And when they talk to me, what I often hear is, like, it makes sense that you, Charlie, had this issue because you've been through so much. And I haven't, and I don't know what's wrong with me. There's something wrong with me because I should be feeling like this because my life is like this. I don't understand why I feel unhappy or have kind of unhappy thinking. What that says to me, what that points out to me is that it's not the thing. So yes, I did have things that happened to me in my life when I was younger, and yes, they were traumatic, but that doesn't mean that everyone who has trauma or everyone who has grief ends up with a habit or an addiction or a behaviour that they don't like. That's not a given. Like, it doesn't mean every single one of us who goes through something ends up with a potential mental health diagnosis or some kind of habit of behaviour that we don't like. It doesn't mean that. In the same way that, people often think that money makes them happy, and like, I imagine there are lots of people who have money who are unhappy, and lots of people who don't have money who are happy. So it's not a given that you have a habit and that you go through trauma. So there's this misunderstanding about when we have a habit of behaviour or we have anxious thinking that we find uncomfortable, that there should be something that made that happen, i.e. a trigger of some description. But it's never the outside thing. And so when I hear that, I can really hear the wisdom in what people are saying to me, is that they know on a deeper level it's actually not about having a trauma, having a grief, having something bad happen to you. It just means that we're all human and that we all have feelings and we all have thoughts, and some of us innocently take a lot of notice of a lot of our thinking about the behaviour. So there's a judgment in that too, by saying there's nothing wrong with my life, so why do I feel like this? There's a searching, there's a judgment. There's not really any compassion. There's something about, kind of, with our little monkey mind, kind of chitter chatter here. Well, there's nothing wrong with you, so why are you feeling like this? Why have you got this habit? Why have you got this behaviour? There's nothing wrong with you. And the judgment comes in there, which makes it feel very heavy and kind of makes us feel separate. Like, I'm separate from Charli because she actually had some really bad shit. Lots of people go through bad shit and don't end up with the anxiety and the habits that I had. And lots of people don't have any crap or anything to deal with and do have things that they struggle with. So look underneath that. Look underneath, like, the grief, or the non-trauma, if you like, because we're all human beings. We all have an experience of life, and we all innocently look outside of us to fix or to like blame. So that's what I just want you to kind of get a feel of. Like, what if you're just experiencing life through your thinking and feeling and behaviours and innocently making it mean something about you, regardless of whether you've had any kind of trauma or grief or bad crap happen. You know, underneath that, look to the human experience of some of us really struggle with that stuff. And it's not about the reason why, it's a misunderstanding of how we create our experience moment to moment. So I just want to leave you with that, like a little, you know, just a little glimpse of like there's something more to life happening. There's something more to you than you realise. And we are all human beings who are having a human experience where we believe our thinking and we believe our thoughts and we think that they mean something about us as a human being. It's usually based around, I'm not good enough in whatever form. And I think that's what I've been hearing more and more and more. You know, especially this sort of comparison to, well, you've had shit, Charlie, so it's understandable that you had you know, the habits, but how have you gotten over it? And I haven't even had a shit life, so why am I feeling like this? What I've learned about humans and about myself and about every woman I work with or every person I work with is that we're all the same. We all have thoughts, we all have thinking, and we all have feelings. And so I've just seen a little bit deeper. And if you would like to explore that with me more, please just hit the button below, message me, and we can set up a chat. I have a free Facebook group that's for women only. That's called She Connects, which you can put on in the search engine on Facebook, or it'll be on one of the links below. Yeah, so I'd love to connect with you if you want to explore this more. But please, please, please know that there is absolutely nothing wrong with you. And just because you think that you haven't had anything bad happen doesn't mean that your experience isn't valid, firstly. And secondly, it certainly doesn't mean anything about you either. It just means you're misunderstanding how you're creating your experience, which is what I did, which is what a lot of us do. I just happen to have a lot of shit to deal with as well. But it's taken me, like, I'm 47 now, it's taken me, you know, quite a long time, but I accidentally fell into this understanding, so I'd love to share that with you. I'm trying to share it with as many people as possible. So I hope that made sense, and just connect with me if you can, or if any of this resonated with you, I'd love to hear what you think. I'll talk to you later. See you later.